All right, it's 6:31. We'll call the meeting to order. Any approvals, additions, deletions of the agenda? No? Looking over the minutes from June 1st, 2026. After we look over those, can I get a motion on those?
Agenda?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
They're the
to accept
minutes.
Oh,
So,
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
all in favor?
Aye.
We're gonna go over clerk notes.
Yeah, just a couple things that were on here added on. Dan Patch Days, this is the annual, request to use Rommel Park and to send the letter to the Indiana Department of Revenue Charity Gaming Section for Dan Patch Days. And then I did create, oh yes. If you guys wanted to put out some kind of a job description going off of what you guys had discussed before on this position and not superintendent wise, but it's a lot. It probably could be condensed, but I just.
More detailed, the better.
Yeah.
And the only thing else I had in that packet that's not on here is, there's a copy down in there of the construction notes. It's just one of the pages that's on there. I have the full construction agenda if you guys want to see that, but, I know when Rob was in here the last meeting and someone had asked him about the shared meters and if those were gonna be done. And he'd stated, yes, I had already heard discussion that those were not all gonna be done and it was gonna have to be a hierarchy of deciding which ones, and those notes do state that in there, that that's the plan because of
That's what
funding.
I'm getting.
And then I also printed you guys out what I have as far as the tally of where we're at with the funding, what's been spent, and where each of those buckets are at, except for the EDA. The EDA is not on there because it's reimbursed money, but and we did get, I think you guys know Eli did get meters read today, the handheld ones, down to like 270 of those. We had a little bit of issues and troubles getting the new system. It was mainly just getting all the different entities to assist me with getting that into the software and the programmers, and it took, and then Monday was supposed to, yeah, but it did finally get done.
Yeah.
Now I have to,
Do
I
you
got
think they
this,
like the new system?
once it's set, it'll be nice, yes. But now we just gotta, I'm hoping I don't have any issues with uploading. I didn't have time to do it this afternoon, but I'll do it first thing in the morning and then, they already know, they're already ready for me to reach out if I have issues.
Okay. That'll be a conversation. Yeah. Yeah. That was addressed months ago.
Yes, it was addressed even before you as well. That's one of the first things we wanted is the buses.
Is that all you have? All right. Moving on to review and discussion, Dan Patch Days. That's the one we just passed down. Is the email?
I'll make a motion except for Alice. Dan Patch Day. I second.
All in favor? Left it in there, but, the employee handbook. Jump into that one.
Light reading for you.
Uh-huh.
Light reading.
Yeah.
Do you guys want me to kind of go through this section by section? Do you want to go over any questions that you had right away? Do you want me to go through things that I added? How do you want to do this?
You wanna, we don't have to
I can summarize.
go over it. Yeah. Yeah. That'd be fine.
And then if anybody has questions about any particular section, we can go through those.
Yep.
So one is just your introduction. Two, talks about the actual terms of the employment. So you're an at-will employer, you can fire them for any reason. B talks about management rights, and this was changed from what you had. This is more summarized. Try to streamline this a little bit, but basically they need to be aware of what the rules are to be an employee and work for the town. I mean, that's why they get this. They're supposed to read through it and sign it. C talks about policy manual administration. So you guys are in charge of keeping this up to date. If they have any suggestions, they're welcome to bring this to the council if that's something you guys would like to consider. But you guys agree to periodically review it. But you ultimately manage, all of your employees. You guys are the body politic for that. You guys are an equal opportunity employer. You are not allowed to be otherwise, so that has to be in there. You're compliant with the ADA. Again, that's a required thing. authorized alien status, E-Verify, and perf. So as part of being hired, you do like the I-9 and the E-Verify, and those are just standard employee hiring processes that you have to put in there. For your job classifications, I tweaked this a little bit. If you have questions, this might be one where you might have changes. But you had it kind of open-ended, and so I just did full-time, part-time, and temporary. I think I added in the temporary workers just because I didn't know if you guys picked up any like summer seasonal labor. Or if you, yeah, or if you had to hire like extra temps if there was a big snowstorm or something like that, so you didn't have a classification for temporary workers. I put that in there. Job posting just shows that jobs will be posted. You guys can hire internally or externally. All applicants, regardless of whether they are an internal or external applicant, have to fill out an employee application. The offer of employment talks about some of their benefits and kind of their schedule, things of that nature. Am I going too fast? Okay. We're buzzing because then I've got ordinances to go through too. So if I go too fast, just yell at me. Medical examinations. You guys can request a medical examination either as a condition of their employment, or if you believe that their current employment has been impacted by something going on, you can request that they go see a doctor. If they are coming back from like FMLA or military leave or extended leave, you can also request that they undergo a physical or like a psychological eval, depending on what they're coming back from. Health information is kept confidentially in your office. That's a HIPAA thing, and so that stays as part of their personnel file, and that gets locked in there. A lot of this I have lightly updated to get everybody current where it needs to be. Reference checks and criminal background checks. If you guys require references for a position, you guys can check the references. You also have the option to run a background check. I didn't say it's mandatory, but you guys are allowed to do that if you want to. Kept it kind of open. Because like if you hire somebody to like mow the park, I don't know that you need to do like a full reference check kind of thing. You don't necessarily require it for everybody. Nepotism, this is Indiana statute, so no direct line of supervision applicants, or if you do, you have to disclose it. Same thing with contracting with the town. If you do that, you have to disclose it. For orientation exit interviews, those are optional. If you're able to, that's great, and if not, that's fine. But to kind of get them familiar with when they start and kind of figure out why they left you if they quit or something like that. Probationary period, this jumped down to 3 months. It used to be 6 months, so we cut that a little bit shorter. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
If we need to bump that out, we can. And then if at the end of the probationary period, if you're not satisfied with that, you can cut them loose.
And at the end of the probationary period, if you cut them loose, do you have to pay unemployment at that time? Or is it because they're probationary?
You have to because it's probationary.
Okay, that's
I would say they can file for it, but then you can defend it and say, you know, hey, he was on a probationary period and it wasn't satisfactory.
within our 90 days.
Mhm. Outside employment, I kind of added this one in there. So, a full-time employee is allowed to have an outside job as long as it doesn't conflict with what their current job is. I don't see an issue with that. If it does start interfering, then they can sit down and they might get some sort of discipline, whether that's a written warning or a suspension, depending on what it is. I didn't think, so that one was a new one. I didn't think that you guys had an issue with that one.
No.
Okay. Personnel files, those are kept in your office. 3 types: the personnel file, an administrative file, and a medical file. And an I-9 file that contains the I-9 form. And
It's supposed to be in a separate.
so it can all be in one, but those are technically, so each one has different
Yeah.
levels of access.
Mhm.
Normally, if somebody is like subpoenaing those, you give the employee a heads up and he can either respond to it, you let my office know, and we can respond to it if we need to. But nobody should really be accessing those unless it's like the town council, the clerk, or the attorney for cause. That is not a public record. So, and that's in access to personnel files. Request for information, if there's anything about the town that a member of the public requests that the employee doesn't know, they should report it back to you guys or the clerk. And not just make things up about the town, which we've had before, which has been fun. Like, can I keep chickens in town? And people go, sure, and then you find out that you can keep chickens in town. It's
Right.
a whole thing.
No, it's not. So it's my
Can I keep a tiger in my basement?
Yeah.
Sure. Business ethics, this just talks about you're not supposed to use your position for gain. You should be telling, confidential information if you guys are working on like a lawsuit or something like that. You won't be out, chit chat with everybody about how the lawsuit's going. No taking bribes. I feel like a lot of this is pretty obvious. But we have to write it down or otherwise you're in trouble with it. Emergency essential personnel. I added this in if there's emergency conditions, like if there's like a snowstorm and you guys close, that's still a paid day. If you're required to close, there's additional compensation if you have to come in while the town is closed. I don't think this is going to come up too often. If there is a day where there's an emergency but they're called in and they don't show up anyways, that gets deducted from their leave time. That counts as a vacation day for them.
Or we call them in, they don't come.
Mhm.
It's good to know.
So if they do,
That is something-
if they are called in, it's time and a half.
Yes. Yes, yeah, that's a paragraph too. And that needs to be approved by you guys, so it's not like, your whole office could show up and get time and a half. You guys would have to green light and say, hey, we have an emergency, we need all of your deputies to come in. And if we hate that, we can always take things out too, because this is more of a draft. You guys will approve it in one of your next meetings here. C is kind of obvious, but like, don't be on the phone your entire time that you're working for personal stuff, and don't use all of the town stamps for whatever you're up to. You're not also supposed to use the town things for like campaigning. I don't think anybody does that, but don't do that. Cell your phones, try not to use your cell phones like while you're working if someone needs help. Use on an as needed basis. You also cannot use those while you are driving. So I added that in there. That's state law. Cybersecurity, you guys should have something in there, and I'm surprised your insurance hasn't required something like this yet, so I added this in here. Basically, if there's some sort of cybersecurity incident, report it as soon as possible to the town council. Things need to be password protected. I think 2FA is what insurance requires these days. If you don't do it already, you're probably headed that way. No using the town's Wi-Fi for illegal things, which again, you'd be like, that seems obvious to me, but
Yeah.
you know, if you take a town laptop anywhere, don't just leave it out in the airport, make sure don't the town's property gets stolen. If you do, get your town laptop stolen or something like that, you got to tell somebody and then you might have to pay for it. Internet and email, again, this I feel like is, pretty obvious, like don't harass anybody online. Don't use social media and pretend to be the town when it's really just you and your personal opinions. You've had that be a problem before. Again, don't use the internet for anything illegal. Like there was a town, I think it was in Illinois, where I think it was a clerk, tried to hire a hitman, but she used the town's Wi-Fi, and the town got involved in this lawsuit because the hitman didn't work, and it was a whole thing. So that's kind of a more extreme example, but don't do that. Use your personal Wi-Fi. That's a whole other.
You're gonna do it.
Don't steal software. Again, if you're having this thought, do it on your personal laptop. I don't want to go to court. You don't want to go to court. Just pay attention. I mean, I'm sure your cybersecurity has gotten into, but don't open sketchy attachments and things like that. Town property is kind of on the same line, and this is more about your equipment and things like that for your water plant. Don't be going joyriding in the town's excavator or something like that. A lot of this seems pretty obvious, but you have to spell it out. So, employees that do drive a car for the town, they'll have to maintain a license. If they are not able to drive, they need to let you guys know, the clerk know right away. Take-home vehicles. This is an IRS rule, but it counts as additional compensation.
Does that come from the police?
No, those are different.
Okay.
But if you had a town guy there, like a town superintendent that you hired and give him a take-home vehicle, we would have to shuffle that out with how that counts as his pay. Return to property. If somebody quits, they need to return all of their equipment, keys, etc. Travel expenses. This is the one that I changed. Bumped that up to $75 a day. No buying alcohol. and you can use it for meals and parking. If you guys are going more than 50 miles afield and you need to do lodging, just have the council approve it. I don't think that one's that big of a deal, and then submit your receipts. For the mileage rate, we use the IRS current rate. It gets updated every year, and that's a tax thing. But that's what everybody uses. No using the town equipment for personal use. The bulletin boards, I don't think this is that big of a deal, but this is a state law that you have to have something in your employee handbook about bulletin boards. Don't be using bulletin boards for your own personal gain or to advertise like your side business.
Is it allowed for town businesses?
Yes.
Too? Okay.
Town businesses is fine, but like, you can't be like, come over to my house for a pool party on
Yeah.
Saturday kind of thing. Like, that's not what they're for. They're for like posting federal laws and things like that. Promotion of business is fine. Promotion of your side hustles is a whole separate thing. Pregnant Worker Fairness Act. This is a new one that needs to be in there. Wasn't in there before, but it's like last year kind of thing that it has to be in there. Pregnant employees may have some accommodations they're allowed to get. Like if you had one that needed to stand her whole shift, and she asked for like a stool to sit on during her shift, you have to provide that. Which like I don't think that we would have any problems. I think if somebody asked for that, you'd be like,
Yeah,
got it. Personal conduct, you guys can do performance evaluations. Department heads can do an evaluation. We're shooting for those to do those every year. But I just said on an as-needed basis too. Attendance, I feel like speaks for itself. You have to show up on time. We didn't get into that one. Oh, yep, right, the bottom paragraph. So don't clock in 5 minutes before. Don't stay late unless it's authorized. So work your scheduled times.
So much, this is something, if we have an employee, say, you're scheduled to work 80 hours a week,
Mhm.
and you only work 70, that other 10 has to either be approved PTO
Mhm.
or use your PTO. It can't just be non-paid time.
I mean, I guess if they don't have PTO, it would be non-paid time.
But they have to exhaust their PTO.
Is usually how they do it, yes.
Is that what we're doing?
No,
No.
because, well, first, we have no schedules. And then when they do request PTO, we don't have anybody going in and approving it because you guys have to do that.
And we recently had someone who's 10 hours short,
Mhm.
but isn't getting their job done. So they didn't have VTO or PTO for that 10 hours. So that shouldn't happen. You can't say I can't get my job done, but you weren't here.
Right, you're just not going to get paid for that 10 hours.
And I think you're going off of whether it,
I'm saying that if you haven't got that, if you've only worked 70, you haven't asked for voluntary time off,
Mhm.
voluntary, not asked for it, voluntary time off hasn't been approved,
Sure.
or you're not using
Mhm.
requested PTO, that can be a ding, right? Because you're supposed to work
Right.
80 hours,
Right.
and you've only worked
And you
70.
have no like PTO to
And so
make up
is
for
that
that 10.
kind of in here that we can?
Yes.
Okay, good. I didn't really see that, but that's just something recent, so I
Mhm.
want to make sure.
Yeah, only paying for the hours that they work. And if they can't make up the hours with their time off, then they're not getting paid for those hours.
Do you look at, we're not doing that, but I think they're doing part. Do you look at patterns, like if this is a pattern all the time?
That could be a reason for like discipline, a suspension or warning.
and I think that's what Cindy was going after was,
When I say a ding, you get a written,
Oh yeah.
then that would start to show.
Yeah,
pattern.
your
Doesn't-
termination is, the section is, I reworked the whole thing and it's a lot broader. So now you don't have the group 1 and the group 2 offenses because that was weird and kind of hard to administer. You guys also don't have a board of work, so it's much more open-ended.
Yeah.
And that would be a reason if they're not working
Well,
their
you're not
job.
working all your hours,
Right.
you're not getting your
And you're
job
going to
done,
come in.
and you don't have it coming.
Mhm.
That's, to me, that's a sit down. We need to have a talk and write that down.
Mhm.
So we have room for that.
Yes.
Okay, and that could be tracking for somebody who's starting to show up. No. Filling.
Personal appearance. I added that appropriate dress also includes safety gear. Because you don't want OSHA showing up and not having dressed together, because then you guys will get in trouble, possibly fine. Appearance of work areas, keep things tidy. No taking gifts or gratuities. You can't do political activities, so no campaigning. Also, you can't really post political opinions. You guys gotta kind of stay out of it. Don't do that on the town page. Productive work environment just says you guys won't tolerate harassment. Problem resolution kind of talks about if there's a problem between like an employee and their department head or their council liaison. So if they have an issue with each other, they can go to the department head. If they have a problem with the department head, they can go to you, but there's a way to try and like work things out before the standoff kind of thing. And then I is your progressive discipline policy, and this is kind of where it's a lot broader. And so it's verbal warning is first usually, then it's written warning, and then it's an adverse action like a suspension or a termination. Depending on how severe any of the or how severe the problem is, you can skip any of those steps that you need to. And so, I mean, if there's something really bad, you can go all the way up to termination. Any written disciplinary actions go in the employee's file. They're allowed to request a due process hearing, especially for like written warnings, suspensions, and terminations if they feel that it's unfair, and those would go in front of the whole council. If they get 3 warnings in a 12-month period, I put this in here, or if they start to show a pattern, then they can be terminated. Harassment, hostile work environment. This combines a lot of your sections that you had about harassment, but just basically like we're not going to tolerate harassment, and that's physical, personal, sexual, all the different types of psychological, cyberbullying, hiring somebody to terrorize somebody at work. Like, don't do that. Please make my job easier. I don't do this. There's a whole process for investigating those things to figure out, make sure everybody's telling the truth, that there's not a false report. What happens if there is a problem, retaliation. So that's all in here. And we kind of combined, honestly, this was like a solid 30-year handbook. This is all kind of condensed into something I think that's going to work better. If any of your employees commit a felony, they have to let you know. If that affects their driving privileges, they have to let you know. If they're going to prison, they have to let you know. Which, I mean, you think you would find out anyways around a small town, but and I feel like all these are reasonable, but I have had problems with these before, so you would be surprised. You can put them on a leave of absence depending on what it is to see if the case gets adjudicated out, if it's just like a misdemeanor. But like for certain crimes, like if you have a crime of dishonesty and you had a deputy, then obviously like that might be, hey, this probably isn't going to work out for you handling money day to day. Ghost employment. So what this is you can't hire somebody to just pull a paycheck from the town. This is statutory. Or if you guys, so ghost employment would also be if somebody was scheduled and then they left to do their own personal thing and kept themselves on the clock. Yes.
Yes. We don't have letters or phones anymore.
It's a 6, isn't it?
Sorry.
No, you're right.
That's one of the one thing that I would.
I got it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's fine. Because Lord knows when they'll swap it back or change it again.
Right. And the minute I change it, they'll be like, we've actually updated all these and they're effective immediately. And you're like, awesome. Whistleblower policy. So like, if there's any retaliation, they are allowed to discuss that with the appropriate person, whether that's the council, or if it's with the council, then they're allowed to talk to my office about it. Then that gets investigated. So like, if you told one of your employees to go like rob somebody's house and then bring their TV back to you, and they were like, hey, I don't feel great about that, we're going to tell somebody else about it, they're allowed to do that, and you can't fire them for that. Again, makes sense. Employee records, and this goes back to the employee files, is that basically we're going to try and document as much as we can in writing, and that goes in their file. Work week. I just did the standard one. If you want me to change that.
Ours is Sunday through Saturday.
And then work hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 p.m. That includes lunch.
And right now they're doing a half hour, but I think that's something else you guys gotta decide on too, if that's working or not, or.
I don't know, I mean, are they cut down their lunches? I don't know. 'Cause I don't do that.
So you guys had agreed that it wasn't,
Like they don't
they didn't
clock
have to
out.
document it, they just automatically get a half hour off unless they write in the notes
Yeah.
that they didn't
They
take a
didn't take
lunch.
And you're getting any of that
Mhm.
all the time?
Not daily, but
If they
on the
haven't
timesheet.
taken it, yeah.
So we have 8 to 4 and that lunch comes out of that 8 hours.
so
But
they're actually
Eight
doing
to
like,
4 is 8 hours.
I don't really know
Yeah,
what they're,
Yeah.
But it's been out.
It would either be like a quarter to 8 to 4:15.
it's, yeah,
I thought it was
so like Phil's the only
4:30.
one that does an 8 hour. He's the only employee that's doing 8 hours, and it's about like 8:15 to 4:15 or 4:30. So he gets the half hour and still gets an 8 hour day.
He still works.
He
It's,
works
it's supposed to
eight.
be, yeah.
And
That-
a half
it-
hour.
it Didn't look that way.
And then,
Yeah.
but then, taking off, he fixes what he's gonna work based on wells. Is supposed to be how it works and still equal out to the 80 hours. And then,
And we're good with the no lunch. I mean, if they work
I don't know how
on
often they get it.
Huh?
I don't know how often they get it.
I mean, he's put in there a little bit
I've,
about,
I've seen them sometimes. I mean.
and his is the only one, because
If are okay with working through your lunch, you're busy and you're working through it, taking a no lunch is not an offense to me.
I think you're supposed to take it,
Yeah.
right? So you're not getting a half hour
You
extra
don't make a half.
unless we're in a situation where you can't stop what you're doing.
if you had a supervisor, that should be where the supervisor is
Yes.
responsible for ensuring that
Yes.
their employees are taking that lunch
Can get one.
unless, but right now we don't have that in place to.
Okay.
And then, for the marshal and deputy marshal, they're on call that whole time, so they don't have that. So it's just
Yeah.
their shift.
Yeah.
And then their shifts are, which is kind of, I'm hoping this will clarify, but I'm not sure it will, mess with like PTO and things like that, because if they're doing 10-hour shifts, they're getting 10-hour holidays.
For the internet, other than the police.
But then if they're not averaging, because they're salary, so
But when you're,
regardless, but if they're not averaging 10 hours, then how am I good with still giving
or
a 10
shouldn't
hour
it be getting their time on hours worked?
for
They should be
PTO?
earning, yeah, their time. on
Well,
hours
that's what we had talked about before, because right now I don't know if this one's got it.
worked. They're not-
The one that we had recently approved was just, it was given to them at the beginning of the year. It was just a flat rate. The new one that, we talked about last time was getting it based on the hours that are
Mhm.
worked,
Yeah.
not,
Yeah, I think that's better.
I do too.
because when we have like previous employees that were only working 20 or 30 hours in a week, but they're still getting that full PTO, that really wasn't
Yeah.
fair.
They should.
And that's still coming into play.
Oh, then we should fix that.
Big changes on the last paragraph there is department heads must post work schedules and provide a copy to the clerk treasurer 7 days in advance. The schedules must be posted 7 days in advance.
What if we don't have a department head?
Supervisor would be the same thing.
We
don't have that
we don't
either.
have either.
Highest ranked
Yeah, I guess. So who
individual.
would be in charge of making the schedule in that situation?
I
mean-
figured the liaison,
Theoretically, well, yeah, theoretically the liaison,
but I don't know that that's the,
right?
I don't know that that's gonna work either.
They should.
I mean, could we put it as liaison or highest ranking or highest seniority
You could.
employee in that
I mean,
department?
Would like council liaison or designated employee, that way you guys can say that person's in charge of making the schedule?
Yeah, that gives you
That'd be
some
fine.
freedom to make that whomever's appropriate at the time.
Because you don't know who's gonna be a liaison over a department. and
From
But the
yeah,
problem we have is if you're having somebody that has trouble with the schedule and they're approving the schedule, is that gonna be good? Miranda, that was last.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's nice to be able to
But
word
then-
it like that so it can be either or.
And then that would be an employee issue that could come to the council if they were
Right.
having scheduling issues with the department head or.
Yeah.
employee.
Should they print these,
I felt like they should be printing their schedule, at least in their department.
and bring them up here, so that way. Yeah.
Well, I can see them on, I mean, everybody can see them now.
Maybe turn out.
I know I just need to get with Aaron because I don't think that he's understanding how to actually set the schedule. He's got it up there, but it's not setting, so you can't print that. But for the public works, they just don't have anything because,
Correct.
so I can show Phil how or
Yeah, I'm just
whoever.
how to do that.
I'd have to give him access as whoever, yeah, as a manager.
Does that take a long time to do? Oh, okay.
I added in a remote work policy. I don't think this will come up. This is like a COVID thing. But if there's something where you're required to work from home, this says you have to keep track of your hours. And work during your scheduled time.
Right.
Job descriptions, I left a little bit open, but we will work on those if we need to. Compensation, this is set by your salary ordinance every year. And I just left that pretty open just because you do a salary ordinance every year. Wage policy, so wage theft, like if they, and this kind of talks about what you're just saying, if they're supposed to be working and they're not here, then you can ding them on their wage, or if they don't work, you don't pay for it. Timekeeping. This just says you have to keep an accurate record of time worked, and that needs to be accurate, and SBOA is starting to crack down on that. So if you're going to emphasize anyone, I think it's going to be that one, because that's been the one thing that they've been auditing on that I've seen in the last like 2 years. They're getting very spicy about timekeeping.
That's why I brought timesheets in today because
Yes.
they had asked if I get signatures.
Yeah.
And if we don't have a department head, yeah.
So
Or
just a heads
whoever
up.
the department head.
Falsifying records, can result in disciplinary action. Work time restricted, this talks about just don't clock in more than 5 minutes before and clock out more than 5 minutes after. Work the time that you're supposed to work unless you have permission from otherwise. Time will be rounded up, so if you clock in at, 7:56 and you're scheduled for 8, you're getting clocked in at 8. I'm not paying you 4 minutes kind of thing. Timesheets, and this goes back to the timekeeping policy, but employees should be signing their attendance records saying that they work the time that they're reporting that they have. Paydays, and I didn't know this one, but I think it's bi-weekly.
Yes.
Hey, that's right, there we go. Pay corrections, if something goes wrong, they'll let you know and we can take steps to fix it. Garnishments come through your office if there are any or other pay deductions. Multiple positions, it's combined hours worked. You don't get, 40 in one and 40 in the other. It's together. Overtime pay gets paid after 40 hours. I added something in there about on-call. If you are on call, and this talks about a minimum of 2 hours per call, not necessarily a full day.
Chair's called.
Mhm.
That's kind of what. we
That's
have.
what we've been,
Yeah.
I've been getting.
I also put something in there, and this is more like depending on who you hire as the new superintendent. If you find somebody is if they're on call and they live more than 30 minutes away, or they are more than 30 minutes away, they're not eligible to be on call. So like if they go on vacation and they still want their on call pay, they need to let you know so you can swap somebody else in.
What if,
Phil is over 30 minutes away and he does basically the on-call wells. I mean, they're scheduled for the day, but we
yeah,
call it on. They just
If
get
he's
them every 2
around
hours.
enough, then I think that one's okay. But generally, like,
This is like out of state, truly unavailable.
I mean,
I can bump it out if you want to like an hour. But this is more like if a water main breaks and you need to get somebody here fast.
right,
Which we have.
right. We do. We just
Not
lives
employees,
on the north side of town
not
and
employees.
is a contractor. What do you think, an hour?
45 minutes? I think 45 minutes is good.
Okay.
That kind of covers Phil and doesn't make it so that
Comp time policy is the same. Longevity pay is the same. This just depends on a resolution that you guys pass. If you guys decide to do it.
I don't follow.
So longevity pay, sometimes employees get a bonus, like if they've been here 10 years, and they might get a bigger bonus than somebody that's been here 5 years.
Mhm.
And you guys would normally do that by resolution instead of putting that into your handbook, just because it might vary from year to year, depending on what your budget looks like. So a lot of people are taking kind of a softer approach until they see what the fallout from the SB one's gonna be, to their budget.
So it's not something that has to be done, it's
Right.
just an option.
If it's not, if you want to, it'll be done by resolution. Um,
On the comp time,
Mhm.
something that we did put in was, to pay out at the end of the year.
Okay.
It might have let them carry over something. No, I don't think it did in comp time. I think that was all paid out.
Rather than being carried over.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a max number of hours?
80. Well, that's what I have.
That was a whole separate.
I mean, it's like PTO. Paid time off.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, and they have to notify 2 weeks in advance. So right now, we currently just pay that as requested.
I just know it was gonna be over a day of comp time. Like if they're gonna use the whole day, then you let you know 2 weeks in advance if possible.
Which, whatever you guys decide, I'm just letting you know what we're doing now, which is, if they request it, if they're short, they request it and we pay it out.
Oh, and then you should change that.
Well, this is changing it to, they have to
They
request
have
it
to.
2
Yeah,
weeks in
I think we
advance.
should, yeah. I
Okay.
like that.
Holidays, you guys adopt a holiday schedule every year saying which holidays you take off. If there are holidays that they need for religious reasons, they will let you know. Which would be exciting. Paid time off,
And currently, we're not paying time and a half for holidays.
It's just
I
straight,
forgot.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just
Unless you work it,
no, even if they,
even if you work it.
which we haven't,
And what you
other
said,
than the
it's
salary.
not like that time, you get paid for the holiday, you get paid,
Gotcha.
um,
You still get the holiday pay if you work the holiday?
you still
They
paid
get the
holiday.
The only ones that are doing that is like the Wells check, so they're getting 2 hours and then they're getting.
Or we have a snow event and they need to
But
come in.
it's just regular time for
Yeah.
that.
okay. So like if there was an emergency where you needed them to come in when they weren't supposed to be here.
They
They'd
get
be
their
getting
call,
paid.
either 2 hours minimum or the time that they worked and their holiday.
If they are ending that over 40 hours, it's gonna be over.
But their pay for those hours at that moment are
It's just
straight pay,
Yeah.
but then they're still
But
getting that
they're-
holiday
yeah,
pay
Right.
on top of that.
Yeah.
For
And
not having to be here.
we currently have it, holiday paid, or holiday time doesn't count towards your overtime hours.
Shouldn't, right. Sure. But if you count work holiday, it's kind of like double time because they're getting paid.
Basically, yeah.
And do we have that written that your holiday doesn't count toward your?
I think somewhere, it's like 40 hours of work.
This is your PTO policy. I can go through this if you want, but I just swapped that one right in there.
This is the old. This is the one that we currently have.
I have
But they-
not seen your new one.
I sent that one. It was in the same email where you sent this to me. This was the one that we had looked at, and then a wrench got thrown in it when I was thinking of the 10 hours versus how that works but the PTO will be fine.
Oh, nope, I have this updated. I'm sorry. But it has yeah, you have an old version. I put out the wrong one.
So
I
you
have
did
this.
get it?
Yep,
Okay,
that's
okay,
it.
okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I can just pass that back if you guys want
I was looking at this and this is different than what I had this morning. Sorry.
So this would go based off what we had talked about before, where it's based on the hours that they're actually working versus instead of just, you're getting this much because
Yes.
you worked here this long.
And that
And then that would make it fair also for the part-time employees. And
it says new employees will receive a prorated amount. This is the one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, my bad.
What do you say about that? This, Ingrid said this is wrong. She
The
said,
Skip that. I'll
version.
swap that one
yeah,
out.
it's, you don't get that bulk at the time of the year. You're not running it.
But we get part-time employees.
it'll get,
prorated.
yeah, and it'll get, divided out,
Sure.
calculated out so that it's based on their hours that they work too, but.
To that point.
Because that's been hard too, where before it's automatically like,
This doesn't have that, you have to give notice on your comp time, there's something wrong with that, and,
that one's just for PTO.
oh,
The comp, she's got it in this,
Okay,
but that
okay, yeah.
comp time will be in there.
I did a standard bereavement leave.
And previously, you guys were not paying, I don't think, for that. It was just
For what?
3 days
Bereavement.
bereavement.
I haven't seen anything.
Okay.
You get called for jury duty. You can get paid for jury duty or you can get paid for work.
Not both.
That will.
Right.
We need everything.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I missed that.
Which one?
Jury duty.
39.
Civil duty.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Thank you.
The time off for voting, we didn't have in the holiday schedule on the salary ordinance.
What's that?
Oh, I can pop that up. But
What'd you
The, for voting, that wasn't ones that were in the salary ordinance for days off, paid days off, holidays.
so I just need to take off the last line there.
Oh, okay.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
And for anybody that works here in town, you can literally vote
In town.
in town, but we're still that important since he's out of town. So he would be, I think most polls now are open early and still really late.
FMLA stuff, I
Mhm.
know that it has to be in
Mhm.
there. The town has to follow FMLA. I've got all the posters up, all that stuff, but because of the number of employees, the employees are not eligible.
I'm gonna double check that because I think there's something wonky going on with that. But that might be a July 1st law change.
Gotta look.
That would definitely be important.
Yes,
Because, you know,
absolutely.
Yes.
it was just like some of the other things, I was like, oh, we could take those out, but because we get federal funding, we have to keep them in anyway, even if it's.
Yes.
Same thing with military leave. It's gotta kind of be in here.
That one, I did have a question about.
Mhm.
So I don't, are they paid or are they not paid for? I know in the old one, it gave them 15 calendar days per year paid for training. In this one, they don't get paid, they just get to keep their position.
Right.
Okay, and I know that the Indiana codes that were referenced in the last one, it looked like 2 of those were repealed, and that must have been where those were at.
Mhm.
So it's unpaid.
But you can't scrap their job if they get their job back.
In that same position.
Yeah. Benefits, I think I have this all updated. There's not much there that we changed. I kind of streamlined your medical insurance instead of talking about all the different types of insurance. I just said that you guys could figure that out every year and figure out what your plan is.
Mm-hmm.
You guys still do the employee match for retirement?
And that was not, I think I've never calculated anything when they've had overtime, it's just went into that match, but if you guys want to keep that, then the way Ingrid has it, then.
But it's not accrued on overtime. Yeah, I think it should stay like that.
Workplace safety. This also gets into like workman's comp, so if there's a big accident, let the clerk know or let the council liaison know. That way if they file, we have kind of a heads up. And that gets into your workman's comp, and that's a lot of that's statutory. So even if we don't like that, we can't really change that.
Can't touch it.
If there is a workers' comp claim, you can require a doctor's note to come back to work. Security of premises, there shouldn't be any drugs or alcohol in the premises. This is a newer one to Indiana code, says if you can carry, you're allowed to carry at work. It has to be secured though. No getting loosey-goosey with the firearms. Like at my husband's work, somebody just kept it under the front seat of their truck, and they were like, no, it's not safe.
Even in government buildings.
Mhm. But you can't, the public can't bring, you're allowed to ban firearms from the public, but employees are allowed to bring their guns to work. It's like one of my 65-year-old secretaries had a gun that she brought to work. I was like, what are we gonna do with that?
What are you up to today?
Right? I was like, why do we need that for? Did not feel super safe with that one, but we're okay. Bloodborne pathogens, kind of streamline this one, but this is an OSHA thing. There shouldn't be anybody in contact with bloodborne pathogens. But if that happens, we will deal with it, is the gist of that section there. Drug-free workplace, that's also not optional. Town premises, town vehicles. This is what, there's kind of an outline for what happens if you suspect somebody being under the influence, is you can ask Aaron to get either BAC or a drug test. Also, big surprise, you're not allowed to sell drugs while you're at work. So that's a no. You can't ask employees to submit to random drug tests. You have to have a reasonable suspicion. So I fixed that. We're gonna pretend that that's been your policy.
So no random throughout the year, okay. Which I don't think they did.
Right, I was like, most people don't even do, just because there's not a good place to send them around here either. I mean, that's the other hiccup is you can ask for it, but then you have to drive to Lafayette. Then, separation termination talks about quitting. There's a layoff if you guys need to reduce your workforce. I put that option in there. And then I left the option open for them to be rehired. You can't lay people off because of discrimination reasons. If there's a disability, and this gets into ADA, if there's something you can do to accommodate that, you're supposed to do that. If not, and they need to be off of work, then you can talk with them, talk with their doctor, try and figure out a plan forward. Employees are allowed to resign. They need to bring their things back. Termination is a disciplinary procedure, and then there's also retirement.
We're talking about this less than 2 weeks, what's the loss of benefits, what is that?
Where are we at?
Resignation. Like they get less than 2 weeks notice.
So that would be you wouldn't get, you know, if there's any coverage or that you get towards the end or if they just quit, then they might not be as eligible for COBRA benefits
Oh, okay, that kind
and
of
things like that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't be done.
And we'll get those out of play, but if you have any other changes, just let me know as you're going through it.
Okay.
Anybody? I'll get those fixed.
I was gonna say, the only thing I was questioning was full-time and part-time.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who averages less than 40.
Could be part-time.
If it's wrote like that and they average less than 40 in a calendar year,
If you want us, I've had other times drop to 35.
because that would,
Yeah,
I just don't want us getting
With-
stuck in that.
Phil or something. Something were to, yeah, make that work out that way.
Because that's when you go with your benefits and all that stuff, but yeah. So with that 40 and the benefit section, so making sure that they qualify or.
We had the dental like 36, 37, is that not qualified anymore?
In the old one, it was all over the place. There was a place where it said anything less than 40, there's a place where it was like 30 or 35, and yeah, so it wasn't real clear.
And one of these days, we don't want to have a firm.
Then part-time get benefits, if they need it.
Oh, I didn't even see.
Well,
if that
PTO would
was-
be,
There might be insurance.
like health insurance. Normally you say just full-time employees, but that's up to you guys.
And full-time is enough, our discussion, is it
Yes.
And I don't,
36 hours,
35.
35?
and I don't see.
Is that full-time and there's the 40?
I'm
He's
just
gonna
not-
fix it.
Oh, okay.
But I'm on it.
And I don't see where that states for their benefits either for medical. Or is that something that, well, yeah, that should be in here, right?
It's either in medical or it's defined somewhere else, and I can fix that if you want me to just put it in there a couple times, that way it's clear. So I just kept it at eligible employees, but I can switch that to full-time. That way you guys, I left it a little flexible, but I can say eligible full-time.
Okay. And probably for retirement and,
So if you look on page 43, when it's talking about eligibility,
I think the only other one.
so eligible full-time regular employees.
Okay. And then for holidays, because in the old book, part-time got certain holidays, full-time got whatever was in the ordinance holidays, and then
It should all be the same.
how many hours.
But that's based on,
Their
they're gonna
hours.
earn their PTO, they're gonna earn that time based on,
No, their holiday hours.
they should still get it based on, their part-time, you should get part-time.
Right, but if you have a part-time person,
What if?
oh, they get, and right now it says, I think it's 6 hours is what I'm giving. But let's say the part-time person only averages 4 hours,
Then they're only getting 4 hours. pay.
Yeah.
and then the same with, so you guys want it averaged by.
Yeah.
for holidays.
You work in
I don't know if that
schedule.
needs to be
Yeah.
put in there, worded some way.
I think when you do your holiday schedule, I think that'll work, and I think with the updated holiday section, that'll make more sense too.
And then just putting it in there that holidays are averaged based on the hours that are.
Mhm.
Okay. So we'll put that in the salary.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, moving on to ordinances. Here's the golf cart one.
Yeah, I gave you guys that packet, and then this was a revised.
Okay.
that part. The only thing on the golf cart is currently our fee is 25.
And I thought we had bumped that up, but
I
you can
thought
pass
we
it as
did.
amended.
You guys passed it for 25.
A one-time.
That was in that whole rate fees.
And I think we had said 25 while we were getting it figured out, and then going forward, like after this year, it's gonna go up to 50, and then we weren't gonna require, it was just gonna be a one-time fee. But if you guys wanna bump it down, we can bump it down. That's
I
fine.
think when we talked 25, that was gonna be 25 annually, and then we decided to go with a higher single fee.
One-time fee.
Okay.
It's more, but it's a one-time fee.
Yeah. Rather than trying to do it every year.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
That's
just
also
more.
for you.
Just, and I wasn't even doing anything with those. It was all the marshals.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to Treva, they do everything in the office, and she said it's pretty easy, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
this
I mean,
works
if he
too.
takes money, I mean, what's he doing?
No, he's not taking the money. The money comes here, but then I give him the form and then he goes and gives them the sticker and checks their registration.
Because
and
I
all
need
that
to
stuff.
register a new golf cart, but I never see him. I see Preston.
No, everybody still comes in here. They fill out the form here
Oh,
and they pay here.
And
And then
once he gets
I
the
give them
form
the
from
form.
her, he knows to go to that address.
So the
okay.
Yeah. You're not gonna
So
see
you guys wanna go in any particular order?
top to bottom, I guess.
top through it, yeah.
The only thing I think, the only one that we wanted to wait on was the cross connection one, and we just wanted to wait till the end of construction.
Yeah.
And that's that one. So that's the only one that won't get passed at the same time. Okay, let's start with, I think in terms of making sense of things. Let's start with the repealer, the one that repeals the old sections. And so if you guys want to pass these tonight, we're gonna have two motions. The first will be to suspend the rules of procedure and pass it on the first reading. And then the second motion will be to pass it. The ordinance numbers will be 2026-0623 A, B, C, D, E, and so on and so forth. And then if you want to wait till your next meeting, that's the exact same way it would go then too.
Okay.
That'll be 07, 06, yeah. A, B, C, D, E, F. And so on.
But we can just do it all this evening,
Yeah, if you want to.
except for that very first part.
For the cross connection one. So we'll start with an ordinance repealing certain sections of the town code of the town of Oxford. We're getting rid of the wood chipping, the trees, the leaf burning on the roads, and the alcoholic beverages, just because those are in other ordinances or they don't really make sense anymore. Like nobody gets a permit from the town hall to cut limbs at their house. Is there a motion? Do you want to pass or do you want to go through them? It
You
doesn't
wanna
matter.
go through them or pass them to go?
I-
What do you think?
Go through them and then, because you gotta do that first motion.
Oh.
And you have to do it for each one of them.
Yeah, we can just go through all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, we do it. Go through it and
And
then.
this is A,
You still gotta do,
is this A?
So it'll be 0623. Right. All right, next one we're gonna do We're gonna do amending the town of Oxford's capital asset policy. This is what it looks we talked about. This is what it looks like. And so what this had is it had all of your assets under the capital asset threshold going on your capital asset ledger. And this just says if they're under the capital asset threshold, then they just get inventoried.
Makes sense.
And that clarifies that. Right, because it was conflicting. I realize there's about 10,000 ordinances
And
there.
that's me.
Yep. And I don't know if it helps, but the order in which I'm going through these is the order that it's in your code book.
Okay.
So we're
Okay.
through Title 1, we just got through Title 3, we're gonna go on to Title 5, and that's the summer sewer use one.
Hey, that one.
The silver. Oh. Towards the back.
And that cleans up the prior ordinance.
See?
And now is that still 0623?
See.
Got it.
All right, next one we're gonna do is the golf cart one.
Right, with the whole thing? Yeah. Eaton.
Next one is amending chapter 92, streets and sidewalks. So what this one was, is we are changing this, so before your streets ordinance didn't really have anything helpful. It was like if you move a yard barn down the road and don't ask permission from the town hall, you can't do that. We're changing that to if you obstruct the street with anything, that's an ordinance violation, so you can't throw your couch out in the middle of the road.
Right.
Or you're going to get in trouble. Again, seems reasonable, but.
Yeah.
Also, if you break the town sidewalks, you're going to get an ordinance violation.
Fair. Yeah.
Yes. Most of these are like, that seems like common sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, next one is for the peddlers, solicitors, and transient merchants. So just to briefly go through this one, you're supposed to get a permit from the town hall. You cannot charge a permit fee. That is a restriction on interstate commerce, and that's illegal now. So, but you can require them to fill out some paperwork. So, people that don't have to get a permit are like Culligan, Schwann's, that kind of thing. Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, things of that nature. Supervised by an adult though, not just kids running around. A person that has a business in town, if they're trying to do like a fundraiser or something like that. Police department, fire department, political worker, that person, campaigner.
They,
Can't,
they do or don't.
they don't have to. So you can campaign, you don't have to get a license. Licenses are not transferable, so like you can get a license and then just give it to her for the rest of your time. All licenses expire after 90 days, so if they're here and then they come back, you gotta get another one. You don't have to give a license to anybody that's been convicted of a crime against a person or a crime of deceit.
How do we know if that's the case?
You, Aaron, should be able to look them up, and they would also disclose it on this permit.
Okay, I
We'll give you
didn't
a
know.
copy of that too.
Okay.
I don't know if it was requiring them to have like a background check before.
You don't
their-
necessarily have to require a background check, but you can ask them to disclose it, and then you
Yeah.
can also have Aaron just run through real fast and just see if anything dings. We just had somebody that was convicted of like armed robbery, try to get,
My question
Mhm.
is with running, like just running their name at it, where if it's
Mhm.
gonna show anything, they have to be ran through, yeah, essentially a triple I,
Mhm.
like a background check, which we have to provide a reason for.
so you don't necessarily have, I was just thinking like in my case, is just look them up and see if you can pop them up real fast on
That's
there. But they're also supposed to disclose it. If you find something and they haven't disclosed it, you can find them and then you can ban them from ever doing that again.
Fair.
Under food vendors, and there, can I jump into that one?
Yeah, okay.
So like in Dan Patch or the market, I think they charge. Do we charge as well? Is that, no,
Not for,
No.
I think it's on the, it's on the, so farmers market type vendors shall not be required.
They pay Discover.
so
Ops.
like if there's a ball game or a pickleball tournament or something, then they need to have
If they have like a food truck, then yes.
And we do have people that are coming up and doing food trucks randomly, so those people should be providing. Is that anywhere in town or is that,
Anywhere in town. I guess a public place, I guess, because it's on like, if it's on like the church parking lot, it's a church event.
Right,
a
that's
lot
their,
of for myself, because I've had
yeah.
Tom come, so he would need a permit to do that. One, he comes and does a couple hours on a random.
Is he on the street or is he in like your parking lot?
In my parking lot, mine, on my,
yeah, it's on your
That's
property.
okay.
so that's
Is-
okay.
is that your parking lot?
Well, it depends where it parks. He parked.
I would say,
he
I-
parked across the street one time, but he's
Yeah.
also parked on my side.
Ah, okay.
I mean, I could just tell him he didn't park in my parking
He
lot.
parks in, okay.
Yeah. So that's, as long as it's on my,
Yeah, and the market has theirs,
he parks on the square too, so it depends. I'm just, maybe they'll have to just move.
but then I know Twisted Grub came out onto the square the other day.
Yeah, they had,
So if, like, because I'm on the parks thing, the pickleball, if somebody has one, and now that's on town property, if somebody's down there. then
Needs to
they will
register.
need-
Yes.
Good to know.
And
I'd
it's
like to see
not,
that happen.
yeah, it's not supposed to be like a super intense one for a food truck. We're just trying to make sure that, the health department has seen your truck and there's not anything of concern in there.
Sure.
So that nobody's, botulism and half the town is down for help. And you have to have insurance. That way, if you do poison half the town, like, we can sort that out.
And this will be good too, because we had people last year that wanted to come out and do their own farmer's market outside of the Thursday when farmer's market ended. And before, so this will allow them the opportunity to do that.
And then last one, and so sorry, that'll be 623F.
Yeah.
And then the last one is curfew.
That one, I had Aaron look these over and he pointed out. What about Friday, Saturday hours?
In the park,
Because it says Sundays, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays.
right, your old code just had them being allowed to be in there on the weekends,
Only on the weekend.
only on the weekends.
What do you think
So-
is a reminder?
Under the age of 17,
16?
and that's that
17.
31, 37, 32.
So basically this is saying they can be
Mm-hmm.
in there anytime on Friday and Saturdays.
Yes, subject to that 31, 37, 32. So like 15-year-olds have a different hours that they can be out than 17-year-olds.
Okay.
But I just referenced the statute because they change it all the time.
right.
They're like, we're gonna give a little bit more leash, then we're gonna take it away, and then we're gonna give a little more, and then take it away. And it's just not worth updating your code every single time they change it. So I just did the statutory reference.
That makes more sense. Saves a little time.
We're trying to make Aaron's job easy.
Right.
And that would be,
G.
And that's it. So on your tap fees, that needs to be advertised. You'll have a hearing on that because it's a rate technically. And so that would be, if you guys are okay with those, we'll get that set for the second meeting in July.
And I know we had discussed that before. one is that the rate that you guys want for the charges. And she's got the other, some examples of others, but then did you say you would add in, or is it in here that basically if the town ends up, because right now we don't have anybody here that could do that, so if they contract it out,
Yeah, like the clause of if it's over that,
that it's covering that
Yeah.
cost.
And so that's partially there too, but I can add in the line there that the 750 is a minimum.
right,
If anything jumps over, then you're at cost.
that'll work.
We're tabling that one in those.
Yeah.
And then you had that one as an example.
Right, and I didn't know if you wanted to do something like that one, the multi or the single meter per unit one, but that I gave you Williamsport's. So if you want to do that, I can do that for the second meeting in July too. Just let me know.
Which one is it?
This, that's already got something, because it's Williamsport's.
Yes. Gotcha. We'll just,
I can do that. Let me know if you want to do one. Not that big of a deal.
this is the old golf cart.
Mhm.
The prohibiting private wells and then across.
And we're hanging out on that one until your project is done.
Which one?
I mean, per request, you guys can go ahead and pass it. I think it might cause problems, but like you can pass it now if you
Yeah, no. No, that just caused extra work for
Right,
everybody
yeah.
involved.
I don't think it's a good idea, but I mean, you're in charge. You can do it if you want.
All right.
Go ahead and make a motion on this.
We will in the
Okay.
old business.
Okay.
Moving on to employee position. We passed this down at the beginning of the meeting. That's just kind of a outline of a street parks maintenance employee position, not a superintendent position. It's pretty well rounded, really.
The only thing I see missing is maybe under minimum qualifications for that they are capable of lifting 50 pounds.
Physical,
And that's reasonable.
What, like,
add that in.
That they're, that they're able to lift.
Yeah, I had lifting, but I didn't put, actual pounds in there. So lifting of
I think that,
15 pounds?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't under duress, but I do. So I think that should be a minimum.
Is there anything else anybody sees or?
That's the only thing I can see.
Anything.
Because that would, then if they medical problem, then the
Sure.
doctor would have to say that they were able to come back. And if they can't.
Lift restriction.
I mean, that would be one of the things that would be a good number to have in there that's quantifiable.
Mhm.
And a doctor could say, no, I don't want him doing that. You know, you're good to go.
Standing for extended periods of time.
Oh.
That's kind of getting in the weeds, but
Yeah. But I kind of like it.
Yeah. I'll add it in.
Do you want me to put that in there?
Yeah,
what do you guys
I
think?
agree. Well,
Either way,
if you can't, then you should, it really isn't the job for you.
Yeah.
I mean, those two are pretty basic.
any other questions about that? Do you have anything else in there that you'd Want to see add Ingrid? Look okay to both of you guys? Okay. All right. Any public comment?
None.
None. All right, duly noted. Moving on to old business, the Houston Electric power for the bulk tank. We tabled that regarding kind of just looking at the numbers and seeing where that will come from. It was 2,400. I knew my Jeep's at the shop and it was in that. So.
And I did put it back on the agenda. I haven't had time to get with, Justin on that to see where he wanted to.
Next week.
Maybe we can, yeah.
And then I can
Yeah,
make sure and get with him and
We really can't answer that.
So, yeah, we'll table that. The ordinances, this is gonna be a,
You gonna make a motion?
interesting, we need to make a motion to,
Suspend the rules
suspend the rules
of procedure
of procedure
and pass it on the first reading.
and pass it on first. Can I get a motion on that?
I'll make that motion.
And I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we're just gonna have to read these off one by one and make a motion
Yep.
on each one. Pertaining to ordinance number 2026-0623A, which is the repealing certain sections of the town code of the town of Oxford. Do I need to read the whole thing? Can I get a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If you want to read the whole thing, you can, but
Not particularly. Just want to make sure I was
we're gonna be here for a
correct.
while.
Change to ordinance number 2026-0623C.
B is the.
I don't have B. Yes. Correction. 0623B. Regarding capital assets. Can I get a motion on that one?
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
You can add on that one if you want. I just don't want to put purple on it if that was gonna be part of the record, but
Pertaining to ordinance number 2026-0623C, amending the town of Oxford's policy regarding utility credits for summer sewer use. Can I get a motion on that one?
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Pertaining to ordinance number 2026-0623D is in David. The ordinance amending the code of the town of Oxford regarding the regulation of the use of golf carts. Can I get a motion on that one?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
In reference to ordinance number 2026-0623E is in Edward, an ordinance amending chapter 92 streets and sidewalks of the town code of the town of Oxford, Indiana. Can I get a motion on that one?
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
And pertaining to ordinance number 2026-0623F is in Frank, an ordinance submitting regulations for peddlers, solicitors, transient merchants in the town of Oxford, Indiana. Can I get a motion on that one?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And last but not least, pertaining to ordinance number 2026-0623G is in George, amending chapter 130 of the Oxford Town Code related to curfew. Can I get a motion on that one?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And the employee handbook, we're just gonna table that for the corrections.
I'll get it updated and then you guys will have a resolution to adopt the new
Yep.
handbook.
Perfect. We've moved on to new business. We've already approved the Dan Patch Days Park use. The job posting, do we want to correct that and then pass it at the next one, or do we wanna pass it contingent on those corrections being made?
You can approve it as amended.
Yeah,
I make a motion to do it as amended.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any around the table concerns?
Are we going to look at Irons Lane now or at the next meeting or we need to look at budget or?
I can get you guys, numbers of where we're at the
Yeah.
next meeting. Go ahead and get this posted and start trying to get some applicants in
Yep.
and then
Yeah.
go from there.
I think that's kind of where we're at for you.
Yeah. That will work. All right, anyone else? All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.